Did you know that dementia affects approximately 55 million people worldwide, with nearly 10 million new cases every year? And the scariest part? The subtle warning signs often appear years before a diagnosis. Hello, I'm Vernon, and today we're talking about the early signs of dementia and early signs of memory loss in seniors. Understanding the difference between normal forgetfulness and dementia symptoms is vital after 60. Dementia isn't normal aging, it disrupts memory and daily life. I created this video to help spot early warning signs of dementia before it's too late. I'll share 5 key signs, a link between hearing loss and dementia from Johns Hopkins, and Harvard-backed prevention tips. Let's explore the silent symptoms of dementia you must not ignore. Warning sign number 1. Subtle changes in judgment and decision-making. The first warning sign of dementia involves changes in judgment and decision-making abilities. Unlike occasional poor choices we all make, this involves a pattern of unusual decisions that seem out of character. According to Mayo Clinic research, people with early dementia often demonstrate poor judgment when dealing with money. This might include giving large amounts to telemarketers, making unusual purchases, neglecting to pay bills, having difficulty calculating a tip, making uncharacteristic financial decisions. I worked with a family whose father, Tom, 68, suddenly bought 3 expensive vacuum cleaners in 1 month, forgetting he'd already bought one the week before. His daughter, Elaine, told me, "Dad just wasn't himself anymore. He was always so careful with money. I wish we'd seen the signs earlier. Maybe we could have helped sooner." What they thought was just senior forgetfulness turned out to be early-stage dementia. Researchers at Harvard found that poor financial decision-making often appears up to 6 years before a clinical diagnosis of dementia. This early warning sign provides a crucial window for intervention. What about you, or perhaps an elderly friend or loved one? Have you noticed signs like these? Don't hesitate to share your experience in the comments below. Your story could help others recognize the signs early, and I'd be glad to offer insight into what it might mean. Warning sign number 2. Language and communication difficulties. The second early sign of dementia involves subtle language difficulties. According to the National Institute on Aging, language problems can manifest years before memory issues become obvious. These communication challenges might include stopping mid-conversation, unable to continue, struggling to find common words, calling a watch a hand clock, using unusual substitutions or descriptions for familiar objects, taking longer to express thoughts, having trouble following complex conversations. And perhaps the most public example of this heartbreaking symptom is actor Bruce Willis, who was recently diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a condition that robbed him of his words before it affected his memory. His family shared that his difficulty finding words and forming sentences began long before they realized it was something deeper than stress. Communication was becoming harder and harder. "That's when we knew something had changed," they said in a joint statement. Dr. Jason Karlawish, professor of medicine at the University of Pennsylvania, notes that language difficulties in dementia differ from the occasional tip-of-the-tongue moments we all experience. With dementia, there's a consistent pattern of word-finding problems and difficulties expressing thoughts clearly. In a Journal of the American Geriatric Society study, researchers found that subtle changes in vocabulary and sentence complexity could appear up to 7 years before diagnosis. They analyzed written language samples from participants who later developed Alzheimer's and found measurable differences in linguistic patterns compared to those who didn't develop the disease. For later in Section 4, I'll explain how these language changes connect to important brain regions affected by dementia. This insight will help you better understand why these symptoms occur. Warning sign number 3. Spatial awareness and navigation problems. Have you ever gotten lost somewhere you've been 100 times before? That's what happened to Margaret, 72 years old, on an ordinary Thursday. For over 15 years, she'd driven to the same grocery store, but that day, she couldn't find her way home. She called her son in a panic. "I'm in the parking lot. I think I've been here before, but I don't know where I am. I can't find the way home." Her voice shook. She wasn't just confused, she was scared. And her son, on the other end of the line, said later, "That was the moment I knew something was seriously wrong. It wasn't just forgetfulness anymore." This is one of the most dangerous early signs of dementia, the loss of spatial awareness and navigation abilities. Unlike misplacing keys or forgetting why you walked into a room, this kind of disorientation threatens a senior's independence and safety. According to the Mayo Clinic, early spatial issues often look like this: getting lost in familiar places, difficulty following directions, trouble judging distances while driving, struggling with tasks like arranging furniture or organizing a shelf, misjudging depth when walking up or down stairs. Neurological studies published in the journal Brain show that the hippocampus and entorhinal cortex, the brain's internal GPS, are among the first regions damaged by Alzheimer's disease. That's why seniors might feel suddenly lost in their own neighborhood, or confused in places they've visited hundreds of times. These episodes are not harmless senior moments. They're red flags, and they deserve attention before memory loss even begins. If you or someone you love has experienced this kind of confusion, don't ignore it. It may be one of the earliest cries for help from a brain quietly under attack. Have you had a moment like Margaret's or helped someone through one? I invite you to share it in the comments. Your story could help someone else recognize the signs early when action still makes a difference. Warning sign number 4. Mood and personality changes. The fourth sign of dementia involves changes in mood and personality that families often mistake for depression or stress. According to the Alzheimer's Association, these changes might include becoming easily upset, anxious, or aggressive when out of comfort zones, developing specific fears or suspicions, acting depressed, apathetic, or disinterested in favorite activities, demonstrating compulsive, obsessive, or socially inappropriate behavior. Dr. Pierre Tarriot, director of the Banner Alzheimer's Institute, explains that these personality changes occur because dementia affects the frontal lobes of the brain, which regulate our social behavior and impulse control. As promised in Section 2, these mood changes connect directly to the language problems we discussed earlier. Both symptoms stem from damage to the brain's frontal and temporal lobes, which control both emotional regulation and language processing. I worked with James, 65, who became suspicious and irritably, a stark change from his usual self. His family blamed retirement, but it was actually frontotemporal dementia, which starts with personality changes, not memory loss. Harvard Medical School found that depression and apathy in seniors may be early signs of dementia. If mood shifts don't improve with treatment, it could signal a deeper issue requiring cognitive evaluation. Have you noticed unexplained personality changes in yourself or someone you care about? This is an important conversation to have with healthcare providers. Warning sign number 5. Problems with complex tasks. The fifth critical dementia symptom involves difficulty with complex tasks and executive function. That's your brain's ability to plan and finish tasks begins to decline. The National Institute on Aging identifies these warning signs: trouble following a recipe or managing finances, difficulty planning multi-step activities, inability to concentrate on tasks requiring sequential steps, problems managing medications correctly, Struggling with new technologies or procedures? Mayo Clinic explains that executive function, our ability to plan, organize, and complete tasks, requires coordinated activity across multiple brain regions. Early dementia disrupts these neural networks before affecting memory centers. I worked with Robert, a retired engineer who had always managed the family finances. His wife noticed he was taking 3 times longer to pay monthly bills and making unusual mathematical errors. These weren't simple mistakes, but represented significant deterioration in his executive function, a key early warning sign of dementia. Recently, I'm finding from Johns Hopkins University research, treating hearing loss with hearing aids may reduce dementia risk by maintaining neural connections and reducing social isolation. This highlights the importance of regular hearing screenings after age 60. When to see a doctor and prevention strategies. If you've recognized any of these early signs of dementia, when should you seek help? According to the Alzheimer's Association, consult a doctor if symptoms last more than a few weeks, daily activities become difficult, you feel anxious or concerned, others notice changes in behavior. Early diagnosis is important. Some symptoms are treatable. Medications work best early. Early action allows for planning. Lifestyle changes may slow progression. Prevention strategies. Harvard Medical School highlights 5 ways to prevent dementia naturally. Physical activity. 150 mins. Week cuts risk by up to 39%. The Lancet. Mediterranean diet. Lowers risk up to 53%. Alzheimer's and Dementia Journal. Cognitive stimulation. Builds cognitive reserve and resilience. Quality sleep. 7-8 hours, night. Poor sleep raises risk by 27%. Stress management. Mindfulness lowers cortisol and protects brain function. Which of these strategies are you practicing? Don't forget to share in the comments below to help our seniors community. Conclusion. Recognizing these 5 early signs of dementia can lead to early intervention and better quality of life. While dementia can't be cured, early action may slow its progression. These signs often include poor judgment, language trouble, spatial confusion, personality shifts, and difficulty with complex tasks, often before memory loss appears. If this helped you, like and subscribe for more on senior health. I'm Vernon, here to support your cognitive health as you age. Remember this important disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes only and doesn't replace professional medical advice. Always consult with healthcare providers for diagnosis and treatment. Take care of your brain health. Don't wait until it's too late. Be proactive, stay informed, and protect your brain as you age. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel to explore more senior health tips that matter to you and your loved ones.